Of our nation mired in toxic partisanship, left versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Welcome this afternoon to A Free Solution. Larry Sharp here, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira recording, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York. Yes, that's the cool Newark. Reach out to me, 585-346-3000. There's clearly a lot of things going on, as there always seem to be. But I want to bring up some specific things. Two of the big ones, which are, well, two specific examples of the big one, which is violence. Many of us are concerned about violence. I get it. You should be. I am too. My biggest worry is that we're going to assume that all of the violence is by default racially or ethnically motivated. Will some of it be? Of course. Of course. But this goes back to right after 9/11. Some of you may remember this. I do very clearly. After 9/11, every single thing that happened, doesn't matter what it is, people were like, oh my God, it's terrorism. Terrorism. Everything is. It wasn't. Did we still have terrorism? Of course. But I think what wound up happening is when we thought everything was terrorism, what did we do? The answers in many places was harsher laws, Patriot Act, surveillance of our own people. I know my libertarianism is screaming. It's fine. You know who I am. You didn't tune in if you thought I wasn't that. All that stuff started happening. I got worried. I'm still worried. I still don't like it. And now, let me give you two examples. In Rochester, for those of you in Western New York, you know this story. If you're not in Western New York, you may not know this story. There was a man who was attacked in his home, set on fire by two youngsters, 14, I think, and 16, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's correct. He died. We don't know why. Yet. I mean, we will eventually. I'm sure we will eventually. But right now, we're not sure exactly why. But clearly, there was some relationship there in some way, shape, or form, right? Whatever that is. When I watched people talk about it, because it was Rochester, the first thing people talked about was it race? Were they black? Was he black? Blah, blah, blah. That was the first thing that happened. It went right to that. When maybe it's just a problem they had. Maybe it's just terrible kids. Insert thing here. And then I'll go to the Atlanta shootings. Terrible shootings. Guy who goes into massage parlors and just kills people. I think 8 are dead now, if not mistaken. More were wounded. And the first thing was, well, these workers, they're all Asians, which means it's anti-Asian. And that's the reason. Now, if you look now at what we know about both of those, and race was brought up immediately. In the case of Rochester, so far, we have problem kids. Parents who are abandoning their kids, they're not going to school, all those things. Right? And the guy in Atlanta, it's a sex addict, spending all his time at home on a computer, checking out porn all day, and then going nuts and deciding to shoot people in massage parlors. So far, that's what we know. The odds are that's pretty close. Where's the ethnic bias there? I don't see it. Where's the racial component there? I don't see it. Now, again, it doesn't mean that the next one isn't going to be. There are racially motivated crimes. No question. I'm not, in no way am I saying that doesn't happen. That does happen. It's just a very small percentage of crime. Does happen. Now, everything's ethnic, everything's race. Larry, why do you care? Who cares if people think it's racist or ethnic background or whatever? Who cares? Here's why I care. You are going to see a huge increase in government overreach because of this. This goes back to SAFE Act. I know some of you, I just said SAFE Act. I just triggered you. That's fine. Be triggered because it's what happened. I ask people often, and again, for those of you not in New York, the SAFE Act is an it's an anti-gun rights law, hurts gun owners, and it came out, I think, in 2013, if I remember right, 13. What happened in New York that we need the SAFE Act? And I would ask people that, and they actually have no answer. Well, we need gun laws. Okay, great. Why? What problem did it solve? Well, guns bad. Okay, I get guns bad. What's the problem that it solved? None. What actually happened was Sandy Hook in Connecticut. And now all of a sudden, everything is about children being shot. Everything's a school shooting. Everything's horrible. So now SAFE Act. SAFE Act, for those you don't know, made about 1 million New Yorkers violent felons overnight and solved no problem. And now we have red flag laws. And I ask people, okay, great. What problem did that solve? Well, we need guns bad. Okay, I got it. Guns bad. What problem did it solve? Yeah, you just told me before the red flag laws that the SAFE Act has magic powers. And the second we put SAFE Act, now we're all safe. It's got safe in the name. That right there. Didn't solve anything. So now we're looking for ethnic and or racial issues. And what's going to now happen? We're going to start doing things like, now we have extra punishment for hate crimes of people who are taller than you. I'm going to make sure in America that if you kill somebody, they are exactly a mirror image of you. And if they're not, you're doing 10 extra years. Larry, when you kill that guy, was he taller than you? He was. He was 4 inches taller than me. You heightist. I can't believe you. That's a hate crime. Now, I don't mean to joke on hate crimes. Come on. I'm not. Well, actually, I am. Sorry. I'm not trying to belittle hate crimes. It's better. I am joking on them. I am. Because now everything is going to be another law. Now, that guy in Atlanta shot people. So, guns bad. We know that. Guns bad. So, immediately, we have to have more gun laws. Because that'll stop him from killing people, I guess. My problem is they're going to use this to try to solve and no problem. And it will just mean more laws, more power, more pain for people who are just trying to live their lives. But what is the common denominator in both of those issues? What is the common denominator in the gentleman who was burned to death in Rochester and the horrible situation of the women being killed in Atlanta? Lockdowns. Yeah. Those kids should have been in school. And that guy should have been at work. They weren't. Lockdowns. Lockdowns are the common denominator. Not race, not ethnic background, not guns, right? The kids in Rochester didn't use guns. None of those are the issues. But look on TV. Who's saying that? Nobody. Nobody's saying, oh, geez, if we didn't have lockdowns, that guy probably wouldn't have been burned to death. Those women probably wouldn't be dead right now. Probably not. Lockdowns is the common denominator, but I'm the bad guy for not liking lockdowns. I'm the bad guy. Yet the violence that I see is directly related to the lockdowns, but I'm the bad guy. Lock it all down, lock down more. What could go wrong? I don't know. Some sex addict who's watching porn all day could go out and shoot 8 people. That could happen. Oh, it did. 2 kids who should be in school might go set a guy on fire. And he might die days later in agony. That could happen. Oh, it did. And who was talking about this literally last year at this time? That the damage that will be done will be worse than anything this virus could do. That was my words on video. If you care, you can go to the Sharpway YouTube page, head on down to the bottom and look for COVID-19 response, March 2020. I literally put all of that down and said this would happen. And it happens. Yes, I'm playing I told you so. So what? I was right. And I'm going to be right again. If we don't nip this in the bud now, you are going to see more laws. It's going to be the Biden hate crime law or whatever. And what could go wrong with Biden and crime laws? The crime bill of 1994. What could go wrong? Lots could go wrong. Lots could go wrong. You will hear all the time. There's more black crime. There's more black kids interacting with cops. Well, who sent 100,000 cops into black communities in 1994? Joe Biden. He's about to do it again. But now it's race, I guess. I'm not sure. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I going nuts? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharp of Free Solution. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology
Hey, Larry.
to operate. Slow, unreliable.
Hey, back off on the Michelob. Try and have an eye on the clean feed. If you see it going in the yellow, you're a little bit too close.
Innovations are here to help.
Okay, thank you.
Maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on.
All right, we got 2 phone calls. First one will be Craig from Clinton. Then after him, we have Joe from Rochester. So once you say goodbye to Craig, I'll put Joe in. You're welcome.
Main Street, Rochester.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution, WYSL Rochester, New York, WENY, ENI, Elmira reporting, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking about new laws to solve no problem that just make things worse, that just allow the government to be more in our business, to jump in our way, to make us criminals, and to solve no problem. And we're doing it again. Let me grab a couple calls. If I got a bunch of comments, I will grab your comments, I promise. But I want to grab a call right now if I can. This is Craig from Clinton. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Larry?
I'm doing great, brother. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just heard you talking about the government not admitting its sins.
well, can the infallible government even sin? I'm not sure.
No, they'll just write a law and make it not a sin.
There we go. That does work.
Yeah,
Very
when
easy.
you have the power to do that, you can just do that.
That's true. I'm not a sinner because I deem myself not a sinner.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how that works. But the thing here is, I think you're right. They're definitely distracting. I don't know if it's purposeful or not because, again, they believe they're infallible. So they might not even realize what they're doing. They're always looking for something else to blame. But it's the same thing with the George Floyd deal. They said that was race motivated and that guy was a bad guy and all this. But the point is that it was the system that put Derek Chauvin there in the first place. And state-sponsored violence for a guy trying to pass a $20 bill, right? Like, okay, you probably didn't have to kill him over that, It's like, you'll find him, where he lives.
I'll go one step further. There's even a link there, too. Lockdowns. If you know the story of George Floyd, he just got laid off because of the lockdowns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to be very clear. Some people get mad at this, but I'm going to tell you I don't know. George Floyd, prior to the lockdown, was working and was clean. That we know. Was he going to go back to do bad things? I don't know. Did he have his moment and he was now going to become a good citizen and be clean? I don't know. Both of those things were possible. So I don't know if he would have relapsed. I don't know if he would have been clean the rest of his life. I've known addicts that have done both. I don't know. Here's what I do know. If there wasn't a lockdown, he wouldn't have been there. He would have been at work. Now, the odds are, everyone knows this, if you have an addict in your life, when you have an addict who has a social structure, is starting to get their life together, they have a higher chance of not going back. Doesn't mean they won't. Odds increased. So when you don't have that, like when you lose your job, the odds increase, you relapse. And he relapsed. So my point is, even George Floyd, I go back to lockdowns. Same thing.
Yeah, lockdowns and state-sponsored violence. Send the cops in and kill this guy. He's got fake money. Okay, well, that's not a race issue. That's an over-policing use of force. Like, maybe we should try to think about. But again, that takes looking at the system, right? It's easier to say, well, it's a racist thing.
We can't do that. It's a whole lot easier to go, everybody's racist. Way easier. Super easy to do that. 100%.
And then you can train them how not to be racist.
Yeah, that's the part that drives me crazy. When I keep hearing this idea, and you went down a rabbit hole, but I'm fine going down that hole. When you bring up the idea of, well, this person's white and they have privilege and they have that. Okay, let's say you're right. Every white guy's got privilege. Okay, so how does a poor white person feel when they hear they have privilege? Now, I know a lot of white people, and I know a lot about white people. Most of them are not one thing. Rich. Most aren't, right? Most people I know who are white are not rich. Some of them are doing well. Some of them aren't doing well at all, but most of them aren't rich. So how does the non-rich white guy or gal feel when everyone says white privilege? Doesn't work very well. But not just that. Let's say you're right. Totally white privilege. Okay. Does the individual white guy like invoke his privilege and get up in the morning and go, okay, Privilege on. Let me go out there and oppress some people of color. Of course not. If there is such thing as white privilege, then the system is what provides the privilege. So if you don't like white privilege, change the system. Either way, changing the system is the answer. It doesn't matter. It goes back to the same thing. Change the system. Why are you blaming the individual person because they're born white? I don't think it was their fault. Was there some magic switch I could have clicked to be white when I was a baby? I don't think I didn't see that switch if there is one. I don't get it.
Yeah, I missed that one too, apparently. But yeah, it goes back to the blame. It goes back to the blame game instead of looking for solutions.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, thank you.
All right, let me grab a couple of comments real fast. Makoto Ozawa. Oh, nice. I like that one. Says, way more worried about the brutal policies of the current state and federal administration than crimes committed against Asians. I'm Asian. I agree with you. That's the issue. I don't want brutal policies. Leave people alone. That's the better issue. If you've got more people out working, they don't have time to go beat people up, do they? They got to go to work. Hard to be up all night trashing stuff if you got to be to work at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I got it. Put people at work. Way better. Matthew says, safe act and triggered. That was well done, Matthew. You caught that. I like that. I wish I had done it on purpose. It's kind of cute, but I didn't. That was just happened to be. Yes. Andrea says, we don't need more gun laws. We need to enforce the laws already in the books. I'm not going to go that far. No, we should get rid of some of them too. I'm not even there. I want to go further than you do. I don't like the ones we have. So look, would I take this year, would I accept simply no new gun laws? I would begrudgingly accept that. I would begrudgingly accept that because I'm afraid there's going to be more. But that's not far enough. We got to pull some back. We really do. We've gone too far. There are too many people who are criminals right now when they shouldn't be. Absolutely. Nick says, yes, I always thought this way. Murder is murder and crime is crime. It doesn't matter who the victim is. Extra laws and policies around this are unnecessary. But they feel good, Nick. They do. See, I'm teaching you a lesson because you're a bad guy. So I'm going to throw 5 extra years on your sentence. So it does feel better. And I'm not against if you're actively trying to destroy a community, then that falls into the realm of terrorism. And I wouldn't mind a special law for that. For example, if you beat somebody up who's not you, that's bad no matter what. But say you do it publicly, like a lynching or something. Okay, you're purposely trying to put terror in the entire community. That's obviously a hate crime. That's obviously, something that is worse than just beating somebody up, which is bad too, or killing somebody. So I can see a distinction, but it shouldn't be based upon because the person is different than you. It should be because your intent was to terrorize a community. If you make that distinction, I'm okay with it. But that's often not the distinction. I hope that's clear. I know it's a little bit of a nuance, but I just wanted to get that out there. I do want to go back into the call if I can. I have another caller. I want to grab Joe from Rochester. Joe, are you there?
Yes, I am, Larry. Good to talk to you again.
How are you, sir?
Very good. Very good. All right. Just 2 things real quick. I wanted to make a comment on that George Floyd case once again. I'm not sure exactly that everybody or most people are looking at this through the right lens. And when I say that, all right, and you may disagree with me on this, but...
you're about to go into something deep, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to go too deep. All right.
All right, Joe, hold on. Stay with me. I got to go to a break. Stay with me through the break, and we'll reboot this on the opposite side of the break. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Great. Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a couple minutes of your afternoon. Larry Sharp, WYSL, A Free Solution, back after the break.
sorry. Unfortunately, this is a hard break.
Don't support violence.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Clouds will slowly clear late, still blustery and turning much colder tonight. We'll drop down into the 20s on Friday. We'll see a good amount of sunshine, but a brisk, chilly day with a high only in the low 30s. On Saturday, spring officially arrives in the morning. And it'll start to look and feel the part with some sunshine near 50 for a high. Nice weather Sunday near 60 with sunshine. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
Here are some warm ideas from Springwater Amish Workshop. Cozy up to the fire on these cold winter days in an American-made, Amish-built solid wood rocking chair. Are the kids a little restless? Keep them active and busy with a solid oak rocking horse, oak child's table and chair set, or rocking chair. Your laundry will dry in no time on a rugged maple clothes drying rack. Local honey topping your oatmeal or pancakes on a cold morning starts any winter day right. Springwater Amish Workshop still has plenty of bird feeders in stock, colorful and attractive to decorate your winter landscape. Think ahead. Think spring. Our Amish builders are still experiencing delays in lumber shipments, so be sure to order the storage shed you need right now to ensure you receive it quickly as soon as the weather breaks. Be sure to visit to select colors, styles, and features, all at great prices. Springwater Amish Workshop, 7936 Route 15 in Springwater, open Monday and Wednesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit springwateramishworkshop.com or visit them on Facebook.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
At Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Anthony Drive off Route 96 in Victor. Spring lease savings are big, like the 21 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4x4 Crew Cab, $219 a month for 42 months. A 21 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 is just $269 a month for 36 months. Requires existing Grand Cherokee lease and be returning lessee. The 2020 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4 is only $159 a month for 36 months. Must be conquest or returning lessee. The 21 Ram 1500 Classic Warlock Quad Cab 4x4 pickup is just $159 a month for 36 months. Must be conquest or returning lessee. Use 2 Ram coupons while supply lasts. Lease through Ally. Jeep, America's iconic four-wheel drive brand. $2,500 cash or trade and other conditions apply. Get full details from the dealer. Equipment and MSRP vary by model. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Shop with confidence and safety and full CDC compliance. Victor, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
What does it mean to bank locally with Tompkins? It means keeping your money in your community with a team of neighbors to guide you through big decisions and milestones, plus all the convenience of our mobile app where you can manage your account, deposit checks remotely, send money to family and friends, even turn your card off if it gets misplaced, then back on when you find it. Ready to bank locally with the team at Tompkins? Visit Tompkins Bank of Castile online or at a branch to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Inside the Taylor Laboratories.
Hey, Tony, what you doing?
A little experiment, Zach. Look what I have under the microscope.
Ugh, what's that?
A sample of indoor air.
How can it be that dirty? Don't AC and furnace filters help?
Only with dust, Zach. But when Taylor installs a whole house APCO air purifier to detox the air, odors, chemicals, mold, bacteria, and viruses are removed.
For clean indoor air.
Yep. Ain't science awesome?
Taylor, 500 help.
Looking for a beautiful Brockport home that's close to everything? The Meadows Apartments in Brockport are just minutes from the Central School and SUNY Brockport campuses. Convenient to Lake Ontario, shopping, parks, and restaurants. Choose from 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments in our village community with many amenities. The Meadows Apartment community in Brockport features a swimming pool and convenient in-building laundry centers. Come take an apartment tour and meet our friendly and knowledgeable on-site staff on Ellis Drive in Brockport, or visit themeadowsny.com to learn more.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira reporting, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. By the way, follow us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. This show's on 5 days a week. Got super cool people on this, show. Not just me. Kevin Wilson's on the show. The amazing and awesome Andrew Hulse is on the show. So you know what? Don't just watch me. Don't just listen to me. It's a cool show. Want to head back to the caller. Joe, did you stay with me?
Yes.
Thank you, my friend. You were talking about George Floyd and how we should look at that. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, for starters, like I said, I think we're looking at this through the wrong lens. And a lot of radio talk show hosts, of course, a lot of programs, they don't really necessarily want to dig into the real aspect or the real problems for political reasons. And come on, let's be real. All right. But nobody, honestly, and this is just a caller saying this, all right, seeing this through a clearer lens. Nobody killed George Floyd but George Floyd. Okay. Yes, we all saw that video with the cop with his knee on his neck. But let's not forget, first of all, that the medical examiner has already ruled out that there is no there was no damage to his windpipe or anything that would cause him to stop breathing because the cop put his knee on his neck. All right. He probably wasn't putting much pressure on his neck.
Hold on 1 second, Joe. Hold on 1 second. The lens I'm looking at it is not whether the officer killed George Floyd or not. The lens I'm looking at it is, if you don't have a government shutdown, George Floyd's not there. The cop's not there. And not just that, the odds. And again, I don't have magic powers. I don't know this for sure. No. But if you have an addict in your life, the odds are if George Floyd was at work, he probably wouldn't be taking fentanyl.
Right. Well,
that's where I'm looking at it. I think that's the exact right lens. Am I wrong?
Let's take a look at that. And that's fairly credible. Okay. But you know what? I don't work, all right, from December up until April. We go back to work in April. I'm just going to use myself as an example, okay?
Sure.
I have every opportunity to run out here, all right, and commit all kinds of crimes if I choose to. I can.
Joe, let me ask you a personal question, and just be clear. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Are you an addict?
All right, and do fentanyl and do drugs and
Hold on, Joe.
It's a matter of choice.
Are you an addict?
No, I'm not an addict, but I was at one time, and I know what that's like. But I'm not gonna play victim status or claim victim status. I chose
I'm with you. So Joe, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have a social structure, the odds of you going back to that lifestyle go down. Right?
That, they want to claim victim status. So in order to be accepted, and everybody's got to live in their alternate world, this construct that they created for themselves. It's BS.
Okay, look, let me go one step further if I could. Let's assume you're right. George Floyd's a bad guy. I don't know that. And he was going to be bad no matter what. I don't know that. But I walked down that road. And he was going to screw up and do bad things. Okay. That doesn't mean choices. But it doesn't mean that the government has to make his life even harder. It doesn't mean the government has to shut down his chance at maybe improving himself when he finally gets a job. It doesn't mean the government has to do that. It doesn't make the government's actions better or worse. even if he's a bad guy. Even if he's a bad guy, it also doesn't mean that he deserved to be dealt with the way he was dealt with. Even if he's a bad guy, if he really is a bad guy and was going to overdose anyway, then the odds are we would have found him at one point, as you know, on the street someplace dead. That would have been what would have happened. And he would have been another number. Sadly for his family, he would have been a statistic. Government didn't have to get involved in this at all.
Let's not blame, all right, the fact that he didn't have work, all right, because if that was the case, then everybody would be pulling George Floyd's stunts.
No, not at all. Oh my God, no. Of course not. Each addict has their own issues. My mother was an addict, and my mother basically abandoned me for a couple of years when I was a young adult, because as you know, when addicts are using, they have a choice of picking you or the drug. They always pick the drug. That's what they do. And my mother did too. When my mother finally fell down, and when she was arrested, and when she actually had to go to prison, when I got her out, I gave her that support structure. And my mom was clean for decades. She never went back ever. She retired clean. She was clean for decades. She had changed her life around. But what if I wasn't there? The odds are higher she would have gone back to doing bad things. That's the odds.
One of yours, and you want to help them, of course you help them.
Yes.
But you don't help them to the point where they start pulling and spiraling you down. All right. I've been on both sides of this coin, so I know how it works. So
I'm with you.
The other thing I wanted to mention really quick, all right, was that I live in Rochester, and we have not seen race relations, and I don't like using that word because I really do believe that we're all part of one race, the human race. All right, but
I like that.
For political purposes, we'll call it, race issues. Okay, so race issues out here haven't been worse. All right, this is the worst that I've ever seen it. All right, and what's interesting is that white people are not going into black neighborhoods, all right, and dumping all their garbage in the middle of the night and making their neighborhoods, all right, a hell to live in, all right? That's themselves. They do that, okay? It ain't white people doing it. It's them.
You're saying black people are making their own neighborhoods bad? Is that what you're saying?
Why they are the way that they are. And when white people go into their neighborhood just to get gas or maybe a convenience store, all right, we are worried. They are watching us. They're looking at us. They may even harass us, all right, and try to rob us. Well, let's turn it around. But what if a black person goes into a white neighborhood?
Let me touch this. I'm glad you brought this up. I don't think that's a race issue. I think that's a social status issue. If you go into poor communities, poor white communities, you will often find them all unkept, right? Poor communities tend to be unkept. That's just the way it is, right? Whether it is a white community in Appalachia, whether it is a black community inner city, whether it's a Hispanic community in the Southwest, if it is a poor community, it tends to be unkept. Am I wrong?
Well, now let's talk about that. You say that it tends to be unkept. You're right. It does tend to be unkept. All right. Yeah. Regardless of who the people are. But I can tell you this.
Yep.
If I take you through a white neighborhood somewhere within the 25, 30 mile perimeter of Rochester, and then I take you to a black neighborhood, all right, I can tell you right now, I know the difference. Everybody knows the difference. We don't need a PhD, all right, in understanding the differences between the neighborhoods. Is it white people that are going into black people's neighborhoods, oppressing them, making them choose to live the way that they do and the crime that they do? All right, the cops won't even do their job out here. They're afraid to arrest black people. They won't arrest them because they want to keep their job. How easy is this?
I see where you're going, but my worry with what you're saying, Joe, is I don't see any other answer except what I'm saying, which is changing the government system to allow people to do what they want to do in their own worlds. It's tough for me to find another answer. I get your worries and your concerns. It doesn't solve the problem, though. It just makes things worse. Did I lose you? All right,
Go on the break.
I did. We'll check on the break. After the break, Larry Sharp, WYSL, a free solution. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website?
Yeah, I patted him down because we were going to break.
Innovations?
But yeah, he's gone.
Customer service or attention to detail.
Yeah, when I had him in queue, he was kind of going off the rails, so he had to let him cool down.
Simple Tech is a local small business that
Yeah, I just don't want any off-color words.
Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website.
Thankfully, he only said BS.
They love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Hey, Larry Sharp here on a free solution. WYSL Rochester, New York. WENY, ENI, Elmira, Corning, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York. Thank you for giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. By the way, I'm also host of The Sharp Way, the absolute #1 video podcast in the world with Sharp in the name. So if you want to check that out, head over to The Sharp Way, like me on Facebook or YouTube. I would appreciate that. Thank you so much. I want to address Joe. I guess I lost Joe. Some people in the chat were a little bit upset. You shouldn't be. What Joe feels is what a lot of people feel. I'm not mad at him for that. He looks at his environment and he makes a judgment based upon what he sees, as all people do, 100%. My only worry, and it's not anger. I'm not upset at all. My worry is, how do you fix it then? If you look at a group of people and say, they're messing stuff up for me, any group of people messing stuff up for me, how do you fix it? How do you make it better? Do I yell at the person? Do I avoid the person? Do I avoid it myself? I hope not. I hope the answer is a real change, which is almost always in the environment, right? It's in the culture. It's in government not using a stick to fix everything, but a carrot instead. I really think that's the only way to fix it. Otherwise, we just keep getting angrier. We keep getting madder, and nothing actually begins to be fixed, right? That's the issue. It is a massive problem. So I'm hoping that will be what we come up with. Solutions, a free one. It's the name of the show. Let me grab a couple comments from the internet if I could. All right. Sonia, hey Sonia, says, how do you think the current COVID guidelines are affecting small business? As almost always, guidelines from government will always hurt the little guy more than the big guy, almost every time. Guidelines are, of course, to keep people satisfied and happy and safe and all those things in theory. In practice, they become barriers to entry for somebody new. They become handicaps for somebody small, and they become another small expense for somebody big. Again, I'll look at buying equipment to make your store better or faster or whatever the case may be. If I have 100 stores, I buy in bulk. I probably have staff who I already pay on my payroll who install things, right? That's what they do because I have 100 stores. So I have some kind of contract to where people go install things. That's what I do. And I'm going to give them, 100 stores to install whatever that thing is. I'm a discounted price. But now when Sonia's Diner wants to do the same thing, she doesn't get bulk pricing. She doesn't have somebody on staff to do this stuff. She has to now go get a contractor and get single store pricing. So she spends more than, Big Larry's restaurant, 100 stores, one near you, right? A whole lot less. So she gets hurt. That's what usually happens. And then the little guy goes out and the big guy keeps winning. And then the big guy rewrites regulations. Remember something. Who writes regulations? Well, Congress people do. Well, assembly members do. No, they don't. You know who writes regulations? Corporate lobbyists. I'm not making that up. Do your own homework. They write the regulations, and then the assemblymen go, that's a great idea. So does your prep cook at Sonia's Diner write the regulations? Nope. Does the corporate lobbyist, who works for Larry's Restaurants, Inc.? Yeah, he writes those. So it tends to do nothing but hurt the little guy as a general rule. Hope that was clear. Roll says, Larry Sharp, I agree. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. Yes. I mean, ratings equals race. Ratings equals blood. Ratings equals conflict. Absolutely. Yes. Joe's in Florida. He says, Florida shut down hard when most of the states did early. Hurt a lot of small businesses. When the state government started lifting restrictions, it was too late for the damage that to be done. Well, what about us, Joe, in New York? We're still getting hammered. Absolutely. Yeah. Lupe says, really glad Larry's addressing this point of view. Yeah. I want to be the place where you can call in and say what you feel. How do we fix things if we don't talk about them? I don't have magic powers. I wish I did. I'd make everybody happy. I would. I don't have that power. So in reality, we have to have conversations, right? I have to have people who think the way Sonia thinks, the way Joe thinks, the way Craig thinks, talking, or we don't become human. We dehumanize each other. It doesn't work. Matthew says, same story across the country. It's terrible. 100%. Yes, it is really bad. And I want us not to be that way. Joe says, come to Big Larry's restaurants, Larry's Giant Subs. I like that. And get your burger done the sharp way. I like that. 100%. That's really good. So, but no, I want to bring up something that's a little bit off topic. But I think still on in a way. Government overreach is always spurred by something, almost always spurred by something that's social. Not that's actually real. That's the sad part. Fear is what brings down government upon us. A lot of people say things like, Larry, sometimes you got to make people afraid. We got to shake people up. I hear that all the time. People who are afraid make bad decisions again and again and again. And if you believe in liberty as strong as I do, if you wear libertarianism on your sleeve as bad as I do, then you realize that almost everything that you're against and you hate came from afraid Americans. Americans who are afraid do bad things, from Jim Crow laws to the Patriot Act and everything in between. Afraid Americans do bad things, make mistakes, hurt each other, and in the long run, it hurts us all. Right? Putting Japanese people in prison camps, afraid Americans. War on drugs, afraid Americans. Right? I mean, every piece you can see, afraid Americans. Americans who aren't afraid, who are out there working, who are out there doing what they want to do to be happy, they don't worry about dumb laws that don't mean anything. They don't worry about whether someone was black or brown or white. They just live their life. They don't care. And that's what I want. I don't need you to love people who are white or black or Hispanic or insert thing here. I don't care if you love them at all. I'd like you to just live your life and not care. Life is good. You're whatever you are. Good on you. Let me go live my life. I'd like more people to be that way. But once I become afraid, we have a problem. When I teach my classes about emotional intelligence, leadership, good communication, one of the things I bring up all the time, the root of aggression is fear. That's the root. People become aggressive when they are afraid. I don't want you afraid. And if you're talking to me, I hope you're not scared of me. If I'm talking to you, I hope I'm not afraid of you. So if we can talk and not be afraid, we can solve problems. I would like to solve problems. I would like nothing but solutions. And of course, I would like them all to be free. Yes, I threw in a free solution on that. I always do. Come on. It's the name of the show. Guys, I hope I'm not being too cheesy with that. But it is important to me that we all see this. And even when someone is upset, even when someone doesn't agree, no worries. You found that when I talk, I always look at the root. I don't want to fight the branches. They just grow back. If I attack the root, I got the branches too. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your weekend. Larry Sharp, A Free Solution. I will see you next week.